This group of robbers had just robbed 30 billion Korean won, but they took off their masks in front of the hostages because all of them were wearing red-eye masks. At this moment, the alarm suddenly sounded and the factory director secretly opened his eyes, only to realize that it was the robber who had pressed it himself. The bandit leader took off his blindfold to let him see clearly, and the factory director was scared and begged for mercy repeatedly. After all, according to the rules of the martial arts world, seeing the true face of the robber is a dead end. However, the robber went against the norm and took off all the hostages' blindfolds because their boss professor ordered that there must be no casualties in the operation. After the police arrived, the robbers opened fire and threw smoke bombs into the air. It seemed like they were surrounded and had no way out, but in fact, they did it intentionally. The police dispatched the god of negotiation, who immediately asked the robbers how many helicopters they needed, but actually wanted to infer the number of robbers based on the common sense of one helicopter can accommodate 4 people. The professor replied that only 1 plane was needed, but the commander thought that there were less than 4 robbers and advocated for a violent breakthrough. However, negotiation experts questioned whether there was fraud. When the head of the flying bull team reached into the gate, everyone was stunned and the robbers were estimated to be over 30 people. Subsequently, the robbers uploaded the kidnapping video online, in which all the hostages were wearing robber uniforms and fake weapons, making it impossible for the police to distinguish. What's even more tricky is that there was also the daughter of the US ambassador among the hostages, and the commander had to order a retreat. Originally, 30 billion yuan was just a facade, and the real goal of the robbers was to use the printing factory and staff to produce 4 trillion untraceable Korean won banknotes. At this moment, a hostage girl pretended to be pregnant and was looking for food, but in reality she was searching for the only communication device in the printing factory, a telephone watch. As they were about to contact the police, the robber grabbed her hand due to his fondness for her, but luckily the other party did not notice the watch. The girl handed the watch to the factory manager, but the robber didn't even allow the toilet door to close, and the factory manager had no chance to operate it. On the other hand, the negotiation expert returned to her friend's shop, but to her surprise, the ambiguous partner turned out to be the robber's boss professor. The negotiation expert received a phone call from the police and learned that the watch had been turned on, and receiving eavesdropping software could obtain the image and sound. The professor hiding behind the door listened in his ears. The negotiation expert turned around and found that the professor was eavesdropping. He directly took out handcuffs and asked him the reason, but the professor lied that he was eavesdropping because he was afraid that she would have another man and was rejected. The negotiation expert believed it and hurried back to the scene. The professor immediately informed his subordinates about the watch. In the money printing factory, hostages were searched and the factory director took the last opportunity to install eavesdropping software behind the girl. However, he was suddenly called by the robbers for inspection and had to hand over the watch to the girl. The girl accidentally dropped her watch, and the robber leader angrily picked it up and smashed it crazily. In a fit of rage, the bandit leader ordered the girl to be dragged into the bathroom for execution, followed by a gunshot from the bathroom.